One time Srila Prabhupada said, we should be like philosophers. And philosophers, they're always discussing what is true, what is moral, what is ethical, what does even truth mean, how to live truth, what is the understanding of this philosophical point or philosophical doctrine. That's a philosopher. So he said, we should be philosophers with our philosophy, that we look at it and then we kind of analyze, dissect, discuss, look at it from different points of view. What that does is it strengthens our intelligence. And in Kali Yuga, our intelligence is not very strong. Our intelligence is very much directed to consider everything in terms of what will make me happy. What do I like, what I don't like. That's the conditioning. So by discussing philosophy, we purify that intelligence. We understand things more deeply. We understand our philosophy more deeply by discussing it. And then we get realizations by discussing. So it's a very, very important principle because we like to talk and we like to hear. And so we should direct that hearing and speaking to stimulating our minds, stimulating our intellect to think in terms, in a more philosophical way. You know, thousands of years ago, philosophy was kind of normal. Philosophy is a form of critical analysis of our existence, why we're here, how we can get out of it, what we're supposed to do, and so many other questions. And as Kali Yuga progressed, especially in the last 20, 30 years, philosophy is not really popular. People don't question, people don't discuss so much. Maybe a few intellectuals. So that was Prabhupada's instruction to us. And sometimes when Prabhupada would read something in assembly of a small group, not an assembly, in a small group, then he would say, now discuss. In other words, what is your realization? So sometimes it's very powerful just to get a group of devotees, read something, and just discuss. What's your realization? What's your understanding? And even, although this sounds strange, even sometimes you can do that with yourself. There's nobody around. You read something, and then you discuss it as if there's people. You say, well, this is my realization. And you're just talking to a wall. And although that sounds unusual, at least you're discussing the philosophy of Krishna consciousness, and whether it's to a wall or to a person, actually, in many ways, it's similar. You get to talk about Krishna, and by talking about Krishna, you clarify aspects of the philosophy. Your intelligence becomes sharper just by talking and just trying to understand, what does this mean? Even if you read something and just say, what does this mean? Does it mean this? Does it mean that? That's what it means to be a devotee. That's how we extricate ourselves from the material world, because the material world is an entanglement. So we can become disentangled by discussing the philosophy, because the philosophy is discussing how we got entangled and how to disentangle ourselves. That's the idea. So think about it. Whenever you're with devotees, talk about something which is useful, like how to stop people from honking their horns in Mayapur. Something like that. Useful. No. Talk about, Krishna. Anyway, you like the horns, right? Because it reminds you that we're here in India. So it's atmospheric. Right? Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.